Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back after a couple weeks off. As you can see, a very quiet opening. Well, I'll tell you what, the Philadelphia Phillies bats are extremely quiet. I mean, Jesus, man, like, what the hell is it with this team? I mean, we're gonna really get into some Phillies talk here tonight because what are we guys 1-9 in the last 10?
Yep.
I mean,
pretty much.
And the bats, I mean, it's like these dudes are squeezing that shit like sawdust. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I know Paul. I mean, let's keep it real. Paul Skeens is a hell of a pitcher, but like they made the other dudes look like they were like freaking Cy Young and Roger Clemens all rolled into one. I mean, it's. I'm sorry, but you get swept. I know a lot of people out there say there's ebbs and flows in a baseball season, and you got to have patience, but you get swept in Pittsburgh. I expect some moves to be made. I'm sorry. So let's dive right into this here. I got my usual cast minus Diego. I got my man Sean right in the middle. What's up, Sean? How you doing, bro?
What's up, fellas? Hanging in there. It's a Monday,
And then right to the side of Sean, I got my man Jeff. What's up, Jeff? How you doing, brother?
Good and sad. Very sad. I'm sad that the Atlanta Braves called up Craig Kimbrell and put him in the third of an inning and then DFA'd him right after the game.
I'll tell you what. I mean, we'll get into obviously these last 10 games and this Pirates series in particular, and then of course the concern over Bryce Harper, but like you bringing up Craig Kimbrell really brings back a terrible memory for me, because just to give a little overview of like this Bryce Harper, Schwarber, like this course, this era. I got to be real with you guys, man. Craig Kimbrell, I feel like Craig Kimbrell blowing Game 4 in that Arizona series and then coming home up 3-2 and not closing that out. I have a bad feeling that we're going to look back on this era and we're going to say that was our chance, because I'm calling it right now, man. I feel like if this window's not closed, it's certainly closing. It's only got a crack. I mean, this team needs a lot. What's your Jeff? I'll start with you. Like, what's your perspective on this team? I mean, is it time to panic here in Philadelphia?
Yep. We went from Coors to Coors Light.
Yeah.
Because, all right, Harper. I don't know if you've done any homework on it. I was just curious once I saw that he was going to be out. Last year, he was hurt in October, his wrist. Yeah. And there was a question about it, and somebody questioned in December, and he said, no, it feels really good right now. So it's been something that's been around since last year. Now, where I think a lot of the problem with this injury and with the team is he got hit by a pitch and came back too soon. But here's the key. He got hit by a pitch 3 times. Inside pitches, he got hit 3 games in a row. Did the Phillies do anything? Not one. Did Topper have anybody throw at anybody? Not one. That's not a Philadelphia team. And to me, it feels like this little camaraderie thing is done. What's-his-face is not going to sign again here. He's gone. You're going to see Kyle Schwarber. He's going somewhere else. I think this little group is done. You haven't seen any of the young guys do anything. Rojas has a catch here and there. He's not a hitter. Marsh, he's done. He hasn't progressed anything. And Bohm, he's done. He hasn't progressed anywhere. He's actually regressed. This team just isn't there, and they're not just going to all of a sudden pick it up. And then your high paid players are not picking it up. Turner's about the only one who's steady this year, and he was the one last 2 years who wasn't that great. It's just there's nothing. I don't know if there's anything they can really do about it. They get some good starting pitching, but you can't. I mean, I feel bad for Abel. He should be 2-0. Rangers should have won last game. I mean, they can't score a run. And like last night, Bohm gets on second base. They wild pitch, the guy's out of the game. He's on third base with no outs, and they could not get him home. Come on. It's
like
to me, I'm sorry, it's unwatchable. And to me, they don't have They don't have that juice. They don't have that fun. They just don't have that look like they're the old team that we all want to watch. And you notice it by the numbers now. You don't see these, these games sold out at home anymore. Yeah, they're not completely sold out.
Look at this right here, because here's another one. I mean, Mike Papernick Jr. with a comment here. He says, so Bryce Harper has only had one RBI season, and that was 2019. Hasn't had 87 RBIs or more since then. And I have right on the bottom there, we're talking about the other pieces in this lineup, like because if you look at the Phillies, right?
Yeah.
Let's think about it. They have really good starting pitching, so that's going to keep them in a lot. That's going to keep them in contention. But the bullpen absolutely sucks. The bullpen blows. And if you look at the lineup, you have Turner, Schwarber, Harper, right? And then Bohm occasionally gets hot. Castellanos occasionally gets hot. The rest of the lineup sucks. I mean, I can make an and I'll tell you a guy that's really disappointed me is Bryson Stott. A couple years ago, you remember that the Florida wild card game where the whole crowd singing A-OK, and everybody's and I'll tell you, I was wrong on this kid. I mean, I thought he was going to take a step forward. I mean, he's really regressing. I mean, so if you look at this team, you could upgrade. You need upgrades at center field, left field, probably second base because Stott hasn't done it. Third base, you need at least 2 or 3 relief pitchers. You
need a backup catcher.
Well,
catcher's not hitting, and he needs to take some more games off. You need a guy that can hit, and Marshawn just can't hit.
Yeah,
He's got a gun for an arm, but I know backup catchers, but still.
Well, you got that young kid down there.
What's going on with Jesus? Jesus ain't doing squat. He's tipping his pitchers or something. 20 earned runs. That's what they were worried about when they let him go in Florida. Now look.
Mike Papernick Jr. says the Phillies fired Girardi when that team was not responding, so they hire Robbie as interim. It's time to fire Girardi. And then Mike, here's our man Mike Fuji. He says bring up Miller and Crawford and bench some of the veterans. And by the way, just since I see, first off, Fuji does the old school show with Sean and I. I just wanted to put it out there. Any Sixers fans, our next show we're actually targeting next Wednesday night. We're going to do the 01 Iverson era Sixers. So I'm going to have an article coming out later this week, early next week, and we're targeting next Wednesday night for the 01 Sixers. We already have We already have Jermaine Jones. I think is a go, and we're trying to get a few other people on the show as surprises. So next Wednesday night on streampunkpa.net, I'll put some links out there. But any Sixers fans, because right now we're ripping this Phillies team. But if you want to relive some good memories of, the last time the Sixers actually made it past the second. Thank God for the Eagles, fellas.
I know.
Right. Let's be real here. Thank God for the Eagles, because the Eagles, hey, world champs, and our football is great. But right now, the state of the other sports right now is not looking too good right now. So,
yeah, pretty much.
Flyers are picking things up in the background. I know you guys, I don't know how much you do follow the Flyers, but they just signed this junior guy out of under everybody else's nose. This guy is good.
Okay.
So we'll see.
What do you think of this? Mike Papernick Jr. says if the Phillies don't keep Schwarber, this Phillies team without Schwarber and his 31 home runs will be in trouble, and Harper don't hit more than 30 to 32. Harper hitting 30 to 32. I'm getting very concerned about Bryce Harper's injuries. Like Sean, what? I didn't really get your take. Like, where are you at with this team right now?
I'm up and down, man. First you got to shake off. You got to take Stott out of the leadoff spot. Whatever it takes. Whoever Robbie wants to put in there. And just like you guys addressed, like the left field, center field, bullpen to me especially has to be addressed, because little Dicky, aka Jordan Romano, he can't get it done. And Stott ain't getting it done, like you said. But since you bring up Bryce Harper's injury, is time catching up with him? Because the injury to the elbow, now the wrist soreness, and I heard fluid from the elbow came all the way down to the wrist.
And what's the one thing that Harper does when
he swings violently?
Violently, exactly.
That's the whole thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
No, but
you know, there comes a time where you got to say maybe it's time to switch up my swing, and you can do it. You've been playing the game so long.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it that case of if I change my swing, am I going to be that same player? I think so, because you're in the league for a reason, you know? And I mean, you are top tier talent, you know, and I think, like you guys said, Topper does need to go because he is not that guy like Realmuto. I brought up to Joey when Realmuto, it was a ball, but it was a ball, but it was a strike, but it was a ball.
Mm-hmm.
He got no emotion. I would have went out there spitting sunflower seeds, got ejected, nothing. Looked like a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe they need to have a players' own in the meeting, like Fuji said. You know, but something has to give. You know, got to do something.
Mike Papernick Jr. says he trades Harper and Stott to the soon-to-be Las Vegas A's, and Miller, the closer, Rooker, and some of Oakland's good prospects. Yeah, I don't see Oakland doing that though, because I mean, like, you know, if we're concerned about Harper's injuries,
who else is
then you know then they are, and plus as great a player as Bryce Harper is, like he's not single-handed. This isn't like basketball. Like he's not going to single-handedly put them in contention. So like you know what I mean? You're not going to go get a 31, 32-year-old Bryce Harper when you're still like 2-3 years away. You know what I mean?
True. And also, like you said, they're probably going to overcharge us, you know?
That's the problem.
That's the thing. But I want to see Crawford up here and, you know, the young guys, see what they can have. I'm tired of Marsh. I think, if anything, I've seen a thing. I said it again. I'll say it again. Cade Smith for Brandon Marsh, Cleveland Guardians, Phillies. Do it. I would.
You know what's funny? You said Cade Smith. You know what's really funny, Sean? No, I know. I understand that. But, like, you know, the way Marsh is playing, shit, I trade him for the hologram of Cade Smith. You know what I mean? I mean, he's and you know what the problem is? They keep playing him because they're trying to justify the Logan O'Hoppe trade. And that's looking really bad right now.
It is.
They're not going to be able to do that. That's done. They did a bad trade. It happens. And everybody liked Marsh. We all love Marsh. It's just he doesn't have it now. He's just regressed. He's just there, and it's not working.
Maybe if he hears this, cut your hair, cut your beard, give yourself a nice makeover, and go from there. Maybe that's what you need, but yeah.
Mike Papernick Jr. says
I saw this.
Harper to Boston for Devers and other pieces. I don't see them. See, I don't see the Phillies trading any of those. Like, I don't see Harper getting dealt. I don't see. Somebody suggested on the radio that, like, if the Phillies did fall out of contention, you know, would you consider, like, Zach Wheeler would be the most marketable guy that you could trade, but I don't even see them doing that.
No. Ranger's the guy who's probably going to go in the pitching thing because he's a free agent and he's going to get big money.
Here, this is what I would do. I think Rojas. I don't think Rojas is the answer. I don't think he's good. But until we trade for somebody, I would bring Crawford up. Well, he said, Mike Papernick says, bring Crawford up in center, Rincones Jr. left, move Kepler to the bench. I don't know if they think Rincones is ready, but, like, if you guys remember, I think there was like a 12 or 13 day stretch where Marsh was hurt, and I think Rojas played like every day. And even though I think he blows, he actually played pretty good in those 2 weeks. So, like, for me, I would stop with this Marsh shit. I think Marsh sucks. Marsh blows. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Marsh blows. Like, put his ass on the bench, have him cut his hair, whatever the hell he's got to do, and put Rojas at center, and then Kepler blows too. Maybe bring Crawford up, put him in left, and just let them play every day and see what you got.
Well, we're
Until you
forgetting
make
one
a
player.
trade.
We're forgetting one player too. Seen it and pissed me off. Weston Wilson.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. That's not
Like,
working.
if anybody's out there, I know I was kind of shocked and pissed. Cody Clemens. He's tearing it up for me.
I know. I said,
know.
You know,
you remember,
I
I
don't-
said that was sad when they let him go, and look what he's doing.
the lefty, the righty. Dude, he just brings it. He has that persona and the pedigree of his dad. You know what I mean? Like the one game, I think me and you were talking about it, Joey, where he hit the home run. It was walk-off, game over. Like, I don't get why we let guys like that. I know he fell out of favor, or it was not enough room on the roster, but the dude's tearing it up when called upon.
Well, I think it was more of the fact that he's a left-handed back.
Yeah, that was, but
you know what I mean? No, I agree. I agree with you. I think Cody Clemens. I think he's showing there's a role for him. There is a role for him in the major league. So I agree with you. But I think that the Phillies are so left-handed dominant. Like,
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with the left-handed back crap. I'm going to call it crap. Schwarber has more home runs against left-handers than right-handers. Plain and simple. How are you going to get any practice and how are you going to get any better seeing left-handed pitching if you're a left-hander than play against a left-handed pitcher? The ball, I understand. I mean, I played ball too, and I understand that the differences there, but the ball still has to go over the plate to hit it. So hit it. I mean, sometimes it's just, I had a catcher on a team that I was on one time, and he said straight out to me, he said, "What do you think about when you're up at the plate?" And I'm like, well, he threw me some of this because he'll stop. That's the problem. Don't think. Just hit the damn ball. Just hit it.
Right.
Stop thinking.
And even
that's true. I mean, sometimes what do they call it? Paralysis by analysis, right? I mean, the more you think, sometimes you just got to go up there and react.
Yeah. Dave Kingman used to just go up and swing at everything. Remember? He just whack. He used to kill the ball. I'm sorry.
It's like Austin Hayes. I'm sorry, Austin Hayes. Real quick, look at what he's doing in Cincinnati. Kidney issues. The rest is history. But go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
No.
Mike Papernick here. He says the only thing the Phillies could do after the season is sign Pete Alonso. He's got an opt-out clause in his contract, and Harper goes to the DH. Yeah, they need some. We need a right-handed bat. I mean, so like,
Harper
I
said he'd go back to
the
the outfield if Alonso signed. I mean, something's got to give, like we said, fellas. It's right now. It's
this
like
retread is not working, and it's the same thing. What do they call it when you do the same thing over and over and over and over, and you expect a different outcome?
Repetitive
insanity.
Joe Banner's favorite quote: "The definition of insanity." Right,
and that's exactly what this is. Unfortunately, it's this, and you can see it. They just don't have that. I don't know. Last year when you were watching them, or even the year before, it was fun. They were fun.
They don't have that fire.
No, they just don't look like that.
They don't have that the eye of the tiger, we're coming in. This is our, like Joey said with the Arizona game. This is our home.
Yeah,
and they beat us here. Come on,
they're like, I don't want to say mailing it in, but they're just like playing. They're just not having fun.
Not only that, we said before, me and Joey, Arizona was playing small ball. They got two men on. Hit a gapper. Let's hit a pop up. Advance the runners. What is the guys trying to do? Jack a home run. No, man, play their game just like they are and see the outcome. But that wasn't the case.
Yeah, but guys, they're not hitting home. I mean, I'm with you. Like we all wanted them to play small ball, but they're not hitting home runs though. That's the problem too. Like Schwarber.
Well, they thought they could do that. Yeah, I know.
Schwarber's got 20 Schwarber bombs. I think the rest of the team has like 36 home runs. Listen to this, right? It was right around a year. right around a year ago. I think it was actually a year ago to the day. Actually, I could be. I might be off by a day or two, but they made that trip to London and played the Mets. And at that point, the Phillies were riding high. They had the best record in baseball. I think they were like 20-some games, maybe even 30 games over 500. They were kicking everybody's ass. Since that point, all right, the last 102 games of 2024, including the playoffs, they were 51-51. In 64 games this year, they're 37-27. But their record without playing the Colorado Rockies, who absolutely suck major ass, is only 30-27. So the Phillies basically, other than playing the Rockies, they're basically a 500 team in a calendar year. And I want to. It's hard to rip an owner, who spends $200 and some million on a payroll. But I got to be real though. I'm kind of putting some of this at Middleton, and I'm definitely ripping Dombrowski, but I'm putting some of this shit at Middleton too, because like, what the hell's the point of spending $200 million like a drunken sailor, and then yeah, okay, I give you props. You went out and got Bryce Harper, all right, you went out and got Trey Turner. You could argue whether Trey Turner's worth the money, but he is playing good baseball. You could argue you went out and got Zach Wheeler, you kept Nola. We'll see what happens there. But he does spend money. But you went into this season with an outfield that's like 26th ranked in baseball. I forget. I was listening to the radio. Like their OPS right now, or whatever it is, if the season ended today, would be the worst in Major League ball since like 1901. I mean, it's gross negligence what this team did in this offseason. Like I kind of partly blame the owner and ownership, because
I blame Dombrowski more, only because he goes to Middleton and says, I think this guy will do this. And do we have the money for it? Yeah, well, then it's on you. I kind of – Middleton – I like Middleton. He opens his pocketbook up, or his wallet, whatever you want to say. I'll be politically correct there. But
no, I agree. I agree. I mean, I like I said, I agree with you in the fact that he does spend money. So it is hard for me to like break his balls too much. You know what I'm saying? And Dombrowski should be able to. I mean, he's a possible future Hall of Fame GM, so he should be able to build a winner with $200 million. My only point though is like, you have a window with like, all these guys are getting older. Like you got the Schwarber last year of the contract, Casty, Harper, Wheeler, all these guys, and you only needed a little bit more. I mean, like if you went out and made a trade for like a right-handed hitting bat, or you signed a legit closer, I mean, this team would have a legit chance to win the friggin' World Series. But now I'm looking at them and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't see a chance. I feel like basically this team's top heavy. They have like maybe 5 or 6 good players, and the rest of the team sucks ass.
And we forget too in the bullpen, we don't have Alvarado either. He's done. Forget he's gone. So we have Schlepp out there is what we have. Orion doesn't look like we thought he was going to be. Don't know what's going on with him. And like I said, Romano, I would be
What do you guys think of this? If Dombrowski is fired, Preston Mattingly, the GM, probably takes over Dombrowski's spot.
That's what's rumored. Yeah, seen that.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
maybe we need to change.
I
don't think. Put it this way: do you think right now this Phillies team looks like they can make it even into the playoffs?
No,
exactly. At this point, I don't want to say we're sellers, but we're not going to. They're saying, the Phillies are going to be hot and heavy into buying up what they can at the trade deadline and all this stuff. They think we need like one player. No, we need a lot more than that. We need to see the team playing better together, and then maybe we do need a player or two. We definitely need some bullpen help, and we definitely need a center fielder. Right now, Rojas reminds me of Dominic Brown.
They need
He's got some things, but he can't do shit.
They need a left fielder. I mean, they basically need a center fielder and a left fielder, and Bryson Stott. I mean, you got a second baseman that's hitting like 239. I mean, I'm not happy with him, and I hate to say it because we all JT Realmuto is great with the pitchers, and he was BCIB, best catcher in baseball, for a number of his years when he was here.
Yeah.
But I hate this. He's not that guy anymore. I mean, JT Realmuto is not that guy.
Well, he wants to stay. I know he's been saying he actually said he would take a pay cut. He wants to stay here and finish his career. He's willing to take a hometown discount. Great, but we need a good backup there because we need somebody with a bat too. He's a good catcher. I mean, the guy takes a beating all the time. I don't think there's any part of his body where he hasn't gotten hit.
Beaten. I was concerned.
He's good with the pitchers. He's kind of like Chooch. He's great with the pitchers. He's just got, there's something about him that's there, but his hitting is just dropped.
Yeah. Wow. You know what? Listen to this. So Jeff Kerr of CBS, CBS says the Phillies have scored 1 run or less in 4 of the last 5 games. The offense has averaged 3 runs per game over the last 10, 17 of which came in 2 of those games. Take those games out, they're scoring 1.6 runs per game. They scored 8 runs on Tuesday in Toronto, 8 total runs in the last 5 games. And that's, that's been the issue with this team. When they are hot, they are hot. I mean, how many times have the Phillies had a game where they'll score 10 to 12 runs? They might even do it a couple games. They might go on a hot streak of maybe 2, 3, 4 games. They might score 10, 5, 6, 7, whatever. And then they'll go like 3, 4 games where they won't even they'll get like 2 hits.
Mm-hmm.
And they're way too streaky.
Yeah. That's part of the problem. They're too streaky. The guy they miss? Rhys Hoskins.
They do.
They do. I think they really do.
I said that me and a few of my friends, like my buddy Johnny, we said it at the time. Like everybody was just like, "Oh, Bryce is going to work to move to first. Oh, it's okay. Rhys Hoskins was good for almost 100 walks and like 27 to 30 homers a year.
Mm-hmm.
And he batted from the right side. They haven't replaced that.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
What do you think of this? Mike Papernick says Phillies need a catcher, left fielder, center fielder, second baseman, closer, backup catcher, and a bench. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Is that all?
Team?
Yeah. What's that saying? Other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
Right. They should bring up the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs and let them play and see how many games they could win. Because they seem to be kicking butt. They're in first place down there, and Stubbs seems to be like fountain of youth.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I was on board with moving on from Stubbs because I was like, you know what? Let's see what Marshawn got. Maybe we need Stubbs to go bring the vibes back and like slap dudes on the ass with tails and shit. I mean, they need something. You know what I mean? Like these dudes can't hit.
Supposedly the Phillies, and you probably heard it. What's his face was talking about it. Kruk talked about it. That they basically had a closed door meeting and they said that they wanted the daycare to end, and this is the year we're going to take it. I think they need the daycare back because they don't seem like they're having any fun whatsoever. They really don't. They're just even when somebody does something great, it's just okay, little hand slap or whatever. It's just you see all the other teams doing the stuff that we used to do. Like in Seattle, they got that staff or whatever they got hats and all the other police. Yeah. It's like they're having fun again, like kids. We just look like we're pushing too hard. We're not having fun.
What do you think of this? Mike Papernick Jr. says Wheeler, Turner, and Sanchez are the only untouchables in his eyes. And now I agree. I don't want to trade Wheeler, but just to play devil's advocate here. Wheeler signed for what, 2 years after this one? I think he's 30. Was Wheeler 35 yet or 36? I know he's getting up there, right?
Remember we extended his contract.
Yeah. So I think he signed a 3-year extension, and that was before last year. So I think that kicked in this year.
So he's here until 27 probably.
Okay. So of course I don't want to trade Zach Wheeler. I would like to try to extend this run, but just to play devil's advocate, with the fact that you got Andrew Painter coming up, you also have Mick Gable, right? You have Sanchez. You could re-sign Luzardo. And if you traded Wheeler, you could possibly keep Suarez. And you have Nola on the books. I'm not advocating the trade Wheeler, but if this season did go in the shitter, you could get a lot for Zach Wheeler. I mean, you could get some seriously good prospects, and you'd still have a good pitch. If the young guys pan out, you'd still have a good pitching prospect.
There's the key word that you said, if the young guys. I'm not sold on Painter yet. I need to see him pitch. He had a couple good games, and then he had a really clunker game. So, and he really hasn't gone a full game. I mean, remember, he's 87 pitches, I think, is all they're letting him throw right now.
Well, to bring up Mike Papernet's thing, I seen something yesterday. They were saying Skeen going to options. Taggers have a good farm system. Dodgers. I think Red Sox. Those three teams. And unfortunately, the Phillies weren't up there. I mean,
well, and also, if you're the Pirates, you have no, as good as Zach Wheeler is, you have no interest in Zach Wheeler. I mean, all he's going to do is play 2 years of his contract, and the best they would be is a third place team. I mean, that's kind of that's pointless for them to get him. You know what I mean?
Would be nice, but
and again, I'll preface this by saying I don't want to trade Zach Wheeler, and I don't think they will, but just say this, like I said, say by July, say in the next month and a half, because they have a really tough schedule coming up. I mean, the Phillies are playing a lot of good teams. So just say this offense continues to struggle. The bullpen keeps blowing. They start sinking back a little bit. Of course, with the last wild card, the Phillies will still have a chance for the playoffs. But if you're sitting there as a GM and maybe you're talking to Kyle Schwarber's camp and you're realizing, hey, you know what? I don't think we could keep Kyle Schwarber. Just say hypothetically, you're like, you know what? I don't know if we could keep Schwarber. Hey, you know what? Wheeler's another year older. Maybe you sit there and you say to yourself, you know what? I got one more year of Castellanos. I'm going to have Harper here. I'm going to have Turner here. Hey, you know what? Let's flip Zach Wheeler for a bunch of prospects. Let's flip Schwarber for some prospects, and let's retool in the offseason with a blank check and go with Harper and Turner as our vets, and let's try to rebuild this thing with some young guys. What do you think?
I mean,
I don't know. I don't. I wouldn't get rid of Wheeler only because he seems to be our stopgap. When we suck, he seems to be the guy that we come up and win for. Although we haven't been scoring runs for him either. I mean, that's the problem. We just haven't been scoring runs. And Nola, I would trade in a heartbeat. I'm sorry, but he's done with us here. I can't take it. I know he's supposedly injured, but I just can't take him serving up meatballs all the time. It's just maybe he'll do something somewhere else.
I think he will. Noah.
He needs a change of scenery.
What do you think of this? Mike Papernick says Schwarber goes to the Cubs in the offseason. Well, I'll tell you what. I love Schwarber, and I don't want to lose him. But again, if you don't think you're going to compete, I'll tell you what. As much as I like Schwarber, if you told me the Cubs going forward, if you told me that you're going to take Schwarber, but we could get Kyle Tucker instead, I think I would do that. Tucker's younger.
I would do it. I would do that.
Well, because the Cubs have Tucker, he's a free agent. So if the Cubs went out and moved, and if the Cubs went out and paid Schwarber, they may not. I mean, I know they're a big market team, but they may not sign both of them. So maybe the Phillies go all in and get a little younger with Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
We kind of, again, I mean, they kind of retool this thing a little bit. Because they're not going to rebuild. I mean, the Phillies pitching staff is good enough. You're not going to rebuild. I mean, you're going to have. Oh, here we go. Here, Mike Papernick Jr. says Tucker wants 13 years, $600 million. Damn,
that ain't happening. Not here. Not with Turner and Schwarber's contract, or Turner and Harper's contracts.
Yeah, but if you don't keep Schwarber, I mean, you're going to lose. Castellanos only signed for one more year. So you're going to what's Castellanos make, about 20, 25, I think?
Yeah. Somebody can move.
I don't think anybody would take it. I mean, you'd have to eat probably half that contract. You think anybody would take
he's
that?
actually having a quiet, good year this year.
Who's that?
Castellanos. I haven't wanted to throw a brick through my TV yet when he's batting.
Nicky
Yeah, but
three
no
buttons.
power though. That's you know what I mean. We need a little bit more power out of him.
He's like Bohm last year, hitting a lot of doubles. Bohm's down to being a singles hitter.
Yeah,
He needs to change the scenery for sure.
Yeah, what do they call Boom? I think Mike Missinelli calls Boom craft singles.
Wow.
So, all right, well, let's look. So the Phillies got a tough week coming up. It's all at home. Well, you got 3 with the Cubs starting today. So you got today, tomorrow, Wednesday afternoon.
And they're in first place, the Cubs.
Yeah, so you got 3 with Chicago. Then Toronto comes here. Toronto's playing pretty decent ball. Then you got 3 with Toronto coming here on the weekend. So what's the Phillies hang on a second. What's the Phillies record in these next 6?
2-4. They're at home. 2-4.
Sean, what about you?
I'm right there with 2-4.
Wow. All right, damn. And I'm sitting here ripping them. I'm going to be somewhat optimistic, I guess, because I think Wheeler wins tonight. I'll tell you, if Wheeler don't win tonight, then I'm really getting concerned. I say 3-3. They find a way to go 3-3.
But your lineup from the top to the bottom is what? Stott. So you don't have Harper. So who's number 2? Trey Turner. And number 3 is what?
I think Turner's leading off, I think, tonight. I think they're trying Turner at the leadoff. So I think Turner's leading off. So it's what do you got? Like Turner. I think it's all righties tonight except for Schwarbaum. So I don't know if I don't agree with. Here's our man Joaquin Sable, our boy Kino. He says get rid of Christopher Sanchez. I actually think Sanchez is one of their consistent pitchers.
He is.
Kino, no bueno.
Michael Paprick Jr. says the Phillies go 2-4 and Robbie is fired. I don't see Robbie getting fired.
Not yet.
See,
really.
I'm not a huge fan of him, but it's hard for me to like. I'm not a huge fan of him, and I'm totally down with the shakeup. I think they could use another voice and somebody that has like a little bit of a pulse, because sometimes I feel like the dude's like asleep in the dugout.
Who's out there? Who's out there you could think of if they pull Robbie out? Who do you think would be a good manager right now?
I'm just throwing names out. Dusty Baker.
I think Dusty's a little too old at this point. I mean, he was great in his not necessarily in his prime for all those years. I don't think the players would work with him. I don't.
Mike Matheny.
Didn't he have problems with the Cardinals? After a period of time, he lost the locker room.
Give it to a catcher. Give it to JT. Look at the guy in the Guardians, Steve Vogt.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean,
Bower or Dusty for the remainder. I think both those guys are a little old.
Yeah, but Bo was in that dugout for a reason, and he wasn't in there before. So it makes you wonder. But
that's actually a good point. Mike Papernick says Bo was shadowing Robbie in the dugout.
So we have Bo in there as manager, and then you have Charlie behind there in his ear. Uncle Charlie, I'll get things done.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm all for making a change because I'm kind of I feel like these guys have become too comfortable. But it's also kind of like, well, how do you shine a turd? I mean, like if you're Rob Thompson and you got to go to like, Romano in the bullpen and he struggles, or Bryson Stott's struggling, you know what I mean? Or Alec Boehm, you got a couple guys on base. He swings at the first pitch, grounds into a double play. I mean, you can't go out there and swing the bat for these dudes. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm more blaming the talent issue, but like most sports, I mean, look at the New York Knicks in basketball. I mean, they just fired Tom Thibodeau, and there's no way he deserved to get fired. I mean, they had the best year they've had in 25 years under him, pretty much, and he got fired. So
he just looks like an asshole, Thibodeau. But he gets his players to win. But
he reminds me of Tom Coughlin from the Giants.
Yeah.
You just want to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, all right. So that's the Phillies. But let's get into a couple interesting things in the NFL that just came up. But we were talking about people getting people things, and I'll tell you a guy that'll get you paid. My man Jason Fine, aka Attorney Big Al. If you slip and fall, say you slip and fall, if you're in a if you're on the job, workers' compensation, and you like pull a nut, you know what I mean? You need some money. Call my man Attorney Big Al. Motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, workers' compensation, or like I said, personal injury claim. He's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey, 1 in Philadelphia, PA, 1 in Cherry Hill, and 1 in Pittsburgh. So my man will get you a lot more than a 40 ounce if you get hurt, right, Sean?
Yes, sir.
But anyway, yeah. So I'm listening. I'm listening to sports talk on the way in, and I think I had 97.5 one, but Jaire Alexander was just released by the Green Bay Packers. And you look at the Eagles. The Eagles. They lose Darius Slay. I mean, right now it looks like you got Ringo and Adoree Jackson are going to compete for that starting corner job across from Guantanamo Bay. What do you guys think? You think Howie could have any interest? Sean, I'll start with you. What do you think about this news?
I mean, I like it. I said to you earlier this morning, I think the reason being we're in Green Bay, character issues, but I think anything for a change of scenery can change one person, coming here, Super Bowl pedigree team, 2 Super Bowls, look at the defense, look at the offense. It speaks for itself. So maybe I kind of do see him coming here. I wouldn't mind it. But like I said to you earlier in the text, I want Trey Hendrickson. And we got all the chips and all the juice to do something, make it happen, Howie. He's a mad genius.
I was listening to what you were saying too, and there's a couple of things going on, and I don't know what the Eagles are thinking out there, or where Howie's thinking. But are they going to sign Simmons or not? That's one question, because he's all but saying, "Here, I'll pay you to play for you." And second thing is, supposedly Jaire has been, what's this thing? Tomlin wants him on the Steelers.
Okay.
Supposedly he's a tough locker room guy. He's a bitcher, from what they said.
That's what they said.
He's like I guess he's like a CJ,
a whiner, basically like a whiner.
A whiner, yes. And he gets injured a lot with little ticky-tack injuries. When he's playing, he's great. But there you go. When he's playing. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having him, but
here's the good thing about the Eagles. I mean, right now you got Ringo competing with Adoree Jackson. I mean, I gotta think it's so late in the offseason that Alexander's not going to get a huge deal. It's almost going to be like a come in, show your work, kind of like 2017 where they brought Alshon Jeffrey in. You know what I mean? So
Bond. Yeah, look what we did for Bond.
Yeah,
bring him in for a year, then you get your money after that. You do good for us, and there you go.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you bring Alexander in, and you brought up his injury problems. Well, I mean, what do you really have to lose? You bring the guy in, and if he gets hurt, okay, well, you're playing Ringo or Adoree Jackson anyway. You were going to do that whether you signed him or not. As long as you don't sign him to a long-term deal right away, then his injuries, you're kind of taking a chance.
Well, I take a chance with him. It's just I was just listening and also reading that Pittsburgh looks like they might be the team that's going to go hot and heavy after him.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be the backup quarterback
plan, whether it be Justin Simmons. But like you guys said, this defense is a revolving door, next man up mentality. Like Ajomo is out.
Yeah.
Trey Williams, he gets out. You got the kid Ojulari, We have so many people and depth. It's unreal. I mean, I'm all
teams are actually sitting back waiting for us to cut players, and they're going to take them because they know that Howie and whoever the scouts are looking at these guys, and if we brought them in thinking that they had something, there's something there.
You bring up a good point. Over the weekend, we signed Keelan Robinson.
Yes.
2024 pick, Jaguars, went to Alabama, running back. I think me and Joe were talking over the weekend. Is it a sign like Barkley could say tomorrow, you know what, man, my body, I can't take it anymore. I'm done.
He said, did you read about Barkley? He said maybe in a couple of years I'll retire.
Well, yeah, and you could thank not the Eagles stadium, that shithole of a stadium, MetLife. It's like the new vet. And any injury, if you played football, but mainly running back, you're like a battering ram. He tore his ACL. He tore his ankle. I mean, like you said, it catches up to you. And I think first and foremost, he wants to have his health and wealth, like walk with his kids, play with them, not be a cripple. Like, it's a shame Earl Campbell.
I know.
Yeah.
Look at what the game did to him. He was young and he's walking with a cane.
Yeah.
And he had to be helped and assisted. But that's the love of the game. But today's medicine and therapy and rehabilitation is awesome compared to what poor Earl Campbell had to go through. Having his knees butchered. You got this rehabilitation, like, what is it? Cold therapy, hot therapy. The list goes on, Jeff and Joe.
Yeah, I don't know if I can. When you say cold therapy, I always think of those big tubs of ice. There's no way in hell you're getting me in one of those, man.
What do you guys think of this?
Ike Reese was talking about the guy we were just talking about, the running back, and he said that you're going to probably use him as the punt or kick returner and not put Cooper DeJean back there. Smart move if that works. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, what do you guys think of this right here? Mike Kaepernick Jr. says Goodell in the next CBA is trying to take away all those dead years that are in contract. The NFL is trying to stick it to the Eagles because they couldn't get the tush push ban. Yeah, I mean that, and that
the Eagles. He hates the Eagles. He hates the Eagles. He hates we are finding ways to do things, and he can't stop them. Obviously, he hates the tush push, and like you said, all teams are pissed at us, even the ones that voted with us. Look, you can do it. We found something we can do, and you can't. That's not our fault.
They hate us because they ain't us, Jeff.
That's exactly it. And we found a way to get around the salary cap. Well, guess what? Find smarter people to get in office. I mean, come on.
Well, that's a killer, and as great as Howie Roseman is with doing that, you got to give a lot of credit to the owner, Jeff Lurie, because Lurie. The reason the Eagles can do that is because Lurie's willing to write checks up front.
Yeah,
and a lot of owners don't do that. Now, see, the way I look at it is, why is it the Philadelphia Eagles' problem that the Cincinnati Bengals owner's cheap as shit, right? Because the you know what I mean? Like Joe Burrow said it. Joe Burrow said it. He's like, oh, how do the Eagles afford all these guys? Yo, dog, look at your owner. Your owner's cheap as shit. So the Eagles shouldn't have to pay for that.
They've been like that for years. You're absolutely right. Like,
yeah,
we know how to. We're like in a candy store. We know what to get and how to get it. Like what's on sale, what's not on sale, and to entice these players, like you said, Joe and Jeff, to get them and come here. Everybody goes, "Oh, Philly's bad." No, it's not. We love the game. We know the game. It's like a tough love.
Yeah,
a family, like getting on a family member. We love you when you're down, but we open arms when you're doing your thing.
One of the Eagles players just said that he was in major depression, and coming to the Eagles last year took him out of that and revived his life. I'm trying to think. I read it online, and I'm trying to think who it was. But he basically said the team is like a family. It's not like one of those things you just say it. Like people say, "Oh yeah, these are my family, these are my friends," and that. But they are. Even up to the owner. How many owners know their players directly? How many owners would literally go out and sit at a bar and just drink with you? An owner, and Lurie would. He's that way.
Well, it's funny you said that, because I think it was AJ Brown. AJ Brown right around. AJ Brown right around. Yeah, AJ Brown right around the Super Bowl brought that up, and I hate to So it's kind of funny. We're on the subject, and I hate to do another shameless plug, but I'm gonna do it here because the next old school I said we're doing is the 01 Sixers. Well, at the end of July, right around training camp, we're talking about Jeff Lurie, so it's appropriate. I'm going to write an article on the Jeff Lurie era of the Eagles, and basically we're going to get into a lot of this stuff on how the Eagles basically are, at the NFL's big boy table, and I feel like Lurie, the owner, deserves some credit. Yeah. So we're going to do an old school at the end of right around training camp on the Jeff Lurie era Eagles. Article will come out, and we're going to do it, at probably the end of July, because I think it is really relevant. You know what I mean? Like you look the last 25 years, you have the New England Patriots, you got what? New England, Baltimore, maybe Pittsburgh up until the last 9 years, but like Kansas City the last half decade. But the Eagles are like top 5 winning team in the last 25 years, and I think a lot of it is because of how they do business.
It makes you want to come here, man. It's just that, it's not only, like I said, once again, the city, it's the fans, the food, and do we get a bad rep throwing Santa Claus batteries at Santa Claus and snowballs? Yeah, but
that Santa was fugazi, though.
I know, but
so long ago, it just, I know. I hear that now and I scoff at it. I'm like, you know what? That's so
everywhere you go, there's something that bad has happened. We could talk about it for another time. You know, like the Dodgers and Giants fan that got critically injured. The Ravens Oakland Raiders guy, one punch dead. Yeah. But all in all, the Eagles are doing great things. And I can't wait to see what happens with OTA preseason. I'm excited.
Yeah, Mike Papernick said how we learned to do contracts from Joe Banner, and then it was Mike. He said it was Mike.
Yeah,
it was actually like 3 players. Lane.
Yeah.
AJ, which is good too, because it's good to talk about that, man. Because if you don't, you got a lot of pent up frustration and hate.
You got a lot of players. Yeah. You got a lot of players. Most of your football players have CTE. I mean, they go out and they bang their heads, and we take them for granted. But then they can't think right, and now they have that kind of thought. But to be able to feel like you're at home and everybody's behind you and everything, it's got to feel comfortable. I mean, you can understand that.
Like you said, they're with their players or teammates more than they are with their own family.
Yeah.
So it's like a brotherhood,
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike Papernick says Becton didn't want to leave. He also says he was born in 1969. Hitting Santa with snowballs was a few years before he was born. Yeah, that story's so tired. I get tired of that shit when you get the national media coming here. First of all, they always have the shot or Geno's and Pat's. It's like, okay, dude, we get it. We like cheesesteaks. We're from Philly. Okay. And then somebody brings up the, if they want to rip Philly, they bring up the snowballs at Santa. All right, dude. It was like 1960 something. And by the way, they showed a picture of that Santa. He was like the biggest hand job Santa ever. The dude wasn't even.
I would have thrown batteries at that dude, not just snowballs. That guy was.
They should have pegged the shit out of that dude. He didn't look like Santa.
Oh, I agree.
I don't even feel bad about it. I wear that shit with pride.
I'm proud of it.
We're from Philly. We're from Philly. If you come as Santa, you better come correct. You better be a big fat ass in a big suit. We don't do skinny Santas here.
I was at the game when it was Michael Irvin's last game at the Vet. And it they were cheering, man. I seen so many damn fights. I was in the 700 level.
Well,
I don't agree with that. I'll never agree with that.
He did say, Michael Irvin said, though, that when they took him off on the stretcher and he was putting his hand up, he was doing it out of sarcasm, but the fans were cheering him that he got up. And he said that changed his thought about Philadelphia. And if you've noticed over the years, though, he has picked Philly a lot of times to beat the Cowboys and they're the right organization and all that. It has actually changed his mindset. Because we hated him here because he was so damn good. You couldn't stop the guy.
Yeah. He had Velcro hands. I mean, he can catch. He can catch across the middle. you know. But man, I mean,
I respect Michael Irvin, to be honest with you, because he is cool with Eagles fans. Like, even though I hate the Cowboys, like I respect Michael Irvin. You know, he keeps it real.
It was Dion going over top of him and putting his hands like this and trying to heal him. That was when I lost it.
Yeah.
Please leave the field. Look at where your son got drafted now, bud.
Enjoy Cleveland.
If even still, I'll stay. But who knows what?
Yeah. So anyway, but we'll see. You know, we got a little bit of time. There's off season's not over, so we got some more time for Howie to make a splash.
There's going to be some more moves, definitely.
It's 1-0 Cubs. Kyle Tucker hit a home run.
Oh, great! Wait, what is it? 1-0 or 2-0?
Yeah. 1.
Oh God. All right. Well, you know what? I wanted to get a little bit into NBA and Sixers draft, Flyers.
What is
draft.
the NBA?
But we'll do that. You know what? We'll do that. We'll be back into. Actually, you know what? Because we'll be back on the 20. What do you think? We'll take next week off. We'll be back the 23rd, and that'll be right before both drafts. So next time we're on. Hopefully the Phillies turn it around, because this does blow going 1-9. So hopefully they turn it around, and we'll do a lot of Sixers draft, Flyers draft, and then all right. So before we get out of here, all right, we got NHL Finals is 1-1 going to Florida. What do you guys think? Who's winning? Who's going to hoist the cup? Is it Edmonton or Florida, or do you care? But either way, who do you think is going to win?
I don't care, but I like to see Edmonton. I really would.
Okay.
I like McDavid, and the other guys on that team. But
that's the whole thing. I want McDavid to win it. I mean, he is a fabulous player.
Generational talent. Yep.
Mm-hmm. A hell of a talent. And if they don't win it, hey, Bob wins it again.
Yeah,
I should have never left here. Look at everything he's done.
It's
we
okay.
are bitching about us not having a goalie, and one of the best goalies around. He's been everywhere. He wins wherever he goes.
Let's talk for another time, and we can bitch and moan. It's a shame.
Yeah. All right, and then how? All right, so I would like. I mean, by the way, that goal. I saw the highlights. That pass McDavid had the other night was friggin' unbelievable. Boy, that dude's like a magician on that ice, man.
Man.
It's been actually, if you're into hockey, it's been a great playoff. The playoffs are just unbelievable, and the shots, and it's just, if you want to see old time hockey, watch the playoffs, because they just pound and they play hockey like hockey needs to be played.
Edmonton in 70 says, okay, all right.
Yeah, Mike. I could see that. Boy, I'll tell you, both games went to overtime already, so it's a great series. Yeah. So people in Canada aren't going to like this. I mean, and if this comes to fruition, I think Florida wins in 6. So I think Florida beats them again.
Oh, God, the atrocity, Joey.
Yeah, Florida beats them again, and that hockey bet in Miami has another Stanley Cup. I'm sure they love the ice down there.
Rolling in his grave right now.
It's where hockey was born, Joey, Florida.
I know, right? All right, so how about NBA Finals? That series is 1-1.
OKC in 7.
7. Wow, that would be good. How about you, Jeff?
I haven't watched a minute of it. I know that Indiana came back and won the first game, but I'd go with OKC also.
I take that back. OKC in 6. Apologize.
All right. So I'm rooting Indiana. I hate to say it, but I feel like this has me thinking 0-1 Sixers Lakers series. I think Indiana stole that game 1 in OKC. Okay. I think OKC they smoked them last night. I think they smoke them 3 more in a row. I think it goes 5. I think because even the game the other night, Indiana came back and beat them, and that was a great shot by Halliburton. But I think Indiana had like 25 turnovers, and like OKC just happened to just not really score off them. I think they scored them. And a little tidbit here, Halliburton was like, I don't know if it means anything, but he looked like he was walking with a limp in the press conference. And if he slowed down a little bit, they're really getting smoked. Mike Kaepernick Jr. says Pacers in 7. Well, that's what I'm rooting for. I'd like to see Indiana win. So I hope he's right.
Do you notice, Sean, that everything that our records and the teams we vote for, Joe is always opposite.
It's okay.
I am really.
Yes. We said 2-4. You said 3-3. We say Edmonton. You say Florida. I say
jump higher.
OKC. You say Indiana.
I jump higher. You.
Hey, Mike.
Jump low.
Hey, you know what? I haven't exactly been Nostradamus lately. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like I'm like
betting for Joey. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so, I was gonna say I have the eyesight of Stevie Wonder with some of my picks lately. You know what I'm saying? So not looking too good here.
All right.
So I don't know. People out there probably be better off going with you guys because I haven't been able to pick shit.
Hey, we haven't been doing good on our picks for the Phillies either.
No.
Yeah. So all right, well, let's get ready to roll here. So let's go Phils, man. Let's get it together. Let's hope we're all wrong, and instead of going 3-3 or 2-4, maybe they have like a nice like 5-1 homestand and they turn this shit around. You know what I mean?
Well, here you go. We forgot who's the winner and loser of the week. Doesn't matter what sport it is. Who's the winner or the last 2 weeks? Who's the winner of the last 2 weeks and who's the loser of the last 2 weeks?
All right, I'm gonna say winner's Tyrese Halliburton because I think the whole league. He went from being voted most overrated player in the NBA by the players who can't pick their own ass, by the way, for saying that. Tyrese Halliburton's the winner, and I'm going to say loser is I'm going to go NBA too. I'm going to say Tom Thibodeau for getting shit canned after beating Boston. You know, who would have thought that? What about you, Sean?
What do you think?
I say loser is the catcher that threw out his own pitcher.
Oh my God,
the Marlins.
Wow, yes,
knocked him out of the game. And I have to
Who's
say,
the bigger loser though, the guy that throws the ball or the guy that got hit in the head?
The catcher. He's a damn loser for knocking out his goddamn pitcher.
Okay.
That was a shot too.
And then it was warm up too.
It
was just straight cracked him in the head. Hat came off. Yeah. And then winner is Shea for OKC in my eyes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. How about you, Jeff?
Winner, I have Abel. He's pitched 2 great games. He hasn't looked miffed. He's looked pretty good. We didn't score a run for him last game. We should have won. Loser? God, there's so many. TNT, for all the crap that they did with the NBA and everything that's happened there. They screwed that up with Ernie Johnson and
yeah, that's kind of
and Shaq. I actually enjoyed watching that. Of all the crap that's out there,
it was like 4 older brothers or young brother, whatever. But and they showed their emotion. You know, they did get the raw end of the deal. It was like they all got backhanded. But the Weasel, TNT. That's a good one, Jeff.
What a difference in pregame and postgame shows too. By the way, like you watch TNT, and it's like Emmy Award winning,
because you're getting the breakdown of.
And then you watch ESPN, and ESPN sucks. Like Kendrick Perkins is hot garbage. Like I can't watch him; he blows.
He's the guy you see in a bar in the corner, just talking about his heyday.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking a Heineken. Man, I used to do this.
And then one of his boys is like, man, shut. Like one of his boys is like, man, shut up. Ass never got off the bench. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So where else can you see like Shaq and Barkley turn around and try to run to a screen and they both hit the floor?
I know, it's great.
We're just talking shit about one another. I mean, then Ernie Johnson is the mediator. Like, yo, calm down.
Yep.
And Kenny Smith is the instigator.
Yeah, how many like pregame shows do you actually want to watch? There's not many that are out there. You're like, all right, come on, let's get the game going. It's actually fun watching them.
True.
Exactly. All right, let me get these last 2, and then we'll get out of here. Mike Kaepernick says the loser is him because the loser is actually himself because Robbie Thompson's still managing, and then he said the winner is Thibodeau because he's out of New York. Hey, Thibodeau's getting paid well, so I think he'll survive.
Oh, absolutely.
So, all right. Well, listen, guys, it was great
Go
rapping with
fighting,
you.
baby.
Thanks everybody for checking us out again. Sixers fans, make sure you check us out next Wednesday night. Streampunkpa was it .net or .com? I should know that, right, Sean?
.com. We're talking about practice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we talking about practice. Yeah, and I have the article out too. So show some love, and Sixers fans, make sure you check it out. We'll relive 24 years ago, the last time we got out of the second round. That would be nice.
Damn.
So,
Yep.
all right, and we'll be back 2 weeks, and hopefully the Phillies start. Let's
We'll
start
be back in 2 weeks.
All right, have a good one, everybody.
Let's go, Phil.
Take care.